Yeah, what's up, y'all? I ain't combed my hair yet, I know. A little nappy headed this morning, but it's all good. Um, I guess it's time to continue my vlog to drop another another edition. It's been a little while since I spoke to you guys last, and I had a few experiences, and I had to clear some stuff up, get my mind right, do some more research. Uh, and now I'm ready to get back to y'all. I'm gonna step up my game some. So, getting ready to drop a little word sound to y'all. But before I do, I want to make a couple of acknowledgments. One, y'all know the type of subjects that I'm involved in and the way I live my life and how I don't skid, at all. I'm doing me the way I like to do me, and I know that it's not going to be appreciated by a lot of folks. Hi, whoever that is that just clicked in. I don't know who that is, but hi, thanks for watching. So yeah, I just do me, and I'm highly unorthodox, atypical, rebellious, all of those things that you pretty much don't find in. Oh, you're going, huh? You pretty much don't find in those other people in society. But that's me, Drew Hill. What's up? Anyway, I'm here to drop another word sound right now, part of my vlog. I'm gonna just start it right now, and then I might continue to do some commentary afterwards if I feel like it. Anyway, greetings, welcome to my vlog. When I last spoke to you, I spoke to you about internal sovereignty versus external sovereignty and what the differences are. As always, I spoke about government, its illegitimacy, and the unlikeliness that I would ever be a follower of any of the wishes of any of the people in government, and why. What up? What up? I'm cool. Just dropping a little word sound. I'm a resolutionary. So, as a resolutionary, I'm entirely unsatisfied with the status quo of, like how we live our lives and how things is going in society. And, um, you know, most people have just chosen to go along with the flow and, go along with the herd and whatever. And me, I live my life in complete rebelliousness. And the purpose of this vlog is just to give you insight about, why I am the way I am and just my outlook and, what we, the people who are unsatisfied with things being the way they are and would like to change it, what we could do to make this world a better place. Hi. Oh, what's up, cuz? What's up, cuz? Anyway, like I was telling Drew, dropping this little word sound, so I'm going to just continue it right now. My continuous effort in this regard is to empower people with information geared towards the liberation of the mind, which would result in spiritual freedom. And I said I wanted to make a few statements, but the statements that I said I wanted to make is that I'm involved in what I'm doing, and I just want to put it out there that I'm very happy with life, love life every day. So if I'm suicided in some way, you know that it wasn't me. You know what I'm saying? Some hater out there decided I shouldn't be around or whatever, and they just took action or whatever. So that's one thing. And two, I just want to, yeah, what's up? I want to give thanks to YouTube and Google and all of those for providing a platform. I know y'all want to monitor us and spy on us, and you expect for social media to be used by everyone in a completely mindless manner. But I want to thank you for allowing me the opportunity to offer this word sound while I still can, in order to uplift the minds of the people. Anyway, that being said, if everyone is happy, that happiness could only lead to prosperity within a society. I'm about to get deep, y'all. So I know to some of you I might sound delusional, but it's possible. It is possible. This statement could lead some of you who know better to think that I am naive. I'm talking about those people. Well, anyway, I'll continue. After all, if you learned in the subjects like knowledge of the occult and the history of human civilizations and other specific knowledge that only a small percentage of the population know and practice in unison for generations, you would know the true end game of the people in possession of and have been using this knowledge is. Consequently, you would know that the way these societies are designed are not to promote personal freedom and spiritual happiness. In fact, the true reality is quite the opposite of what I mentioned. It is not possible for anyone to truly realize spiritual freedom and the personal growth with what we have here in regards to a system of government for many reasons that are too high in number to completely list here today. Our individual spirits have been mercilessly, systematically, and increasingly attacked and colonized. You are so used to living under these conditions for so long that you do not know of any other way and could not, and because of your educational conditioning, perhaps you cannot even conceive of any other way. The system of power that existed before you were even a spark in your daddy's eye is so complex and so well and carefully crafted that if you have found a way to adapt to your present situation so well that you probably didn't even notice that our present social order is something straight out of a futuristic, dystopic, sci-fi novel, except that the future is actually now. Morning, cuz. It is a completely unnatural way of living, and if you've been here on this plane for any significant period of time, intuitively you should know this. I'm sure that if the smart people of the past knew we would be living this way today, if things continued the way they did back then, they would have done everything they could to sound the alarm to prevent us from living the way that we presently do. The funny thing is that the smart people of the past did do just that. Very few people have listened, and all that I want out of life and others in doing what I'm presently doing, as I've often stated before, is to help make the world a better place, using knowledge as a means of empowerment that will facilitate the leveling of the playing field of life. I've consulted the dictionary to define the word spirit in order that I may capture the meaning of the word in the right context, and I found these definitions, two of them. Definition 1, the non-physical part of a person that is the seat of emotions and character, the soul. Quote, we seek a harmony. Used in context, we seek a harmony between body and spirit. End quote. Definition 2, those qualities regarded as forming the definitive or typical elements in the character of a person, nation, or group in the thought and attitudes of a particular period. For example, the university is a symbol of the nation's egalitarian spirit. The context in which I am alluding to spiritual freedom is that of definition 2, referring mostly to the attitude, to behave in a manner in which you know you are free. True happiness cannot be achieved unless we are all free. Like always, that is what I want to speak to you about today. Not necessarily true happiness, because that is relative to the individual. The freedom of the individual, which would lead to the spiritual freedom. I would like to talk about the freedom of the individual, which would lead to the freedom of individuals worldwide, or the collective worldwide. That has yet to be established. Freedom for all is admittedly a long way off. For me, it is an idea, an idea that I'm obsessed with and dedicated to. I have committed so much study to the subject, and doing this has changed my life. I was able to change my life for the better by changing my way of thinking. This is what knowledge has done for me. Freedom is defined as the power or right to act, speak, or think as one wants without hindrance or restraint. Would you say that that is your condition? Are you free? would you say that having freedom in your life would make you happier if it were? Or do you not want the responsibility that comes along with freedom? I used to think that freedom was this highly coveted thing that everyone values. Now I know better. Freedom isn't even the type of thing that is given. Freedom is the same as respect. It has to be earned. What if I told you that the amount of happiness you could potentially enjoy is in direct proportions to the amount of freedom you have? And what if I also told you that the amount of freedom you have is in direct proportions to the types of choices you have and of those you make? What if I also told you that the types of choices you make are directly in proportions to the types of information that you are exposed to? What if I told you that the information you have received your entire life has been false? All of it. What if I told you that most of the information that would have been beneficial towards your development has been deliberately withheld from you in order that you would remain vulnerable to those who truly possess wholesome, true knowledge, and that they do not want the average person to have that type of knowledge, because that would put them in a position, that person who has that knowledge, to resist what they, the oppressors, intend to have done to you and all the other people on the earth. Did the picture that I just painted for you make a difference in the way you see things? I know that to a lot of you it wouldn't, because you're too far gone mentally, spiritually, and in other ways. One famous quote, author unknown at this time, is that, quote, "It is no good measure of sanity to be profoundly well adjusted to a truly sick society," end quote. Taken in its proper context, if you made it to the station that you have in life and you have achieved the things that you have, like status, education, money, and the things that come along with it, like lifestyle or anything material, you most certainly may be one of those people who have the mindset that what we have collectively created, this literal mind control system, this so-called government, is somehow fundamentally in accord with all that exists when the evidence available, all the evidence available, shows otherwise. You place so much value on what you have accumulated and the way that you live that the very thought of the system being threatened in any way is frightening to you. I would even go as far as saying that it would be horrifying to you. If I had to put myself in the mental state that I imagine that you would be in when eventually coming to grips with that reality, that if I had to come to grips with the mental states, that's the speculation that I would have. And you never know, that coming to grips may be so much sooner than you know, given the state of the economy and what's happening as far as world wars and stuff like that. There's so much more detail that I could go into to broaden your outlook on this subject alone, but I will have to save that for another time. The reality is that this system that you put your trust in and rely so heavily upon so that you could be who you are is and has always been unsustainable. Nothing lasts forever, dude. You know what I'm saying? Freedom is something that you have to continuously work on, and if you're not participating, on any level, then of course your condition will remain the same. I got off track. But anyway, this is your true reality. This is all of ours. I speculate, given what I know, that those of you who are so well adjusted to this profoundly sick society for whatever reason, whether you are doing well or not at this time, in whatever conceivable way, is about to get a taste of what the true reality that I spoke about is. Because our way of living has met its end. Babylon the Great has already fallen by design. They just didn't tell you yet. Out of the ashes, a new system is expected to rise in its place that they've created. What we're about to experience is a culling of the herd, unlike any culling you've ever heard about or experienced before. So there will be no happiness, at least not right now. So you better enjoy what little happiness. If you living like that, you better enjoy that right now because that's coming to an end soon. And then like some happiness in the aggregate, that won't be possible until we establish a society in economic turmoil cannot prosper. So you just think about that and let that simmer for a while. We in free fall descent, our economy. In case you have not noticed, the world economies are intertwined. If one falls, they all suffer. And if the economic behemoth known as the United States Corporation falls, they all fall like a house of cards. The United States Corporation has been falling for a while, and now it's almost in free fall. I said almost, but it's in free fall descent. And when it finally does hit rock bottom, it's taking everything with it at the same time. And what effect will that have on the people? It does not take a genius to realize that people who have depended on government like parents are going to one day be abandoned by their parents, and they have not learned to be independent. And since they have not learned to be independent and self-reliant, and if you couple that with the fact that no one truly cares for one another in society, that the reality is that we are only resources to one another, well, you could easily conclude that a lot of these people will die off pretty quickly. To put it bluntly, that's population reduction. That's one of the ways that they're going to reduce it. All they got to do is turn off the EBT cards, and people will go buck wild in the street. I guarantee you. You know, turn off the cash cards. You know, matter of fact, all of that don't even have to happen. Just let gas ride, the price of gas continue to rise for a while. You know, I mean, there's all kind of factors. We dangling, we hanging by a string. You know, our society. A lot of people pulling out of the dollar. In case you don't know that right now, like countries is just abandoning the dollar. So this pattern is like, and if you haven't noticed, like bread, the prices of bread is rising, gas, everything. You know, and your pay ain't rising. So think about it, my friends. You know, medicine, all that stuff that you used to. Do you have a contingency plan for that? You know, the way that you're living right now, I'm trying to tell you, is unsustainable. Anyway, so now what I'm doing, you know, because one day in the near future, your permanent reality may be just to get something healthy for you and your family to eat every day and to have shelter, and not whether or not you're enjoying the finer things in life or whether or not you have air conditioning and what have you. Mine already is. I'm already living in squalor, you know, and adjusting to it. But, you know, it's practice. You know, like I walk everywhere. You know, I'm like, I as little as possible, I ask other people for stuff. I try to be self-reliant. And it's just, so when the big transition hits, it's just like, since the hurricane, I've been living like this. So it's just going to be normal life for me. I don't know what y'all going to do. Anyway, that's my reality already. So now what I'm doing, what am I doing? I'm trying to wake up as many souls as possible before this thing really pops off. And in the meantime, I'm preparing for survival, but not just in the regular way like everybody else. I'm preparing to go through some very rough times in the future. I'm adjusting to our new coming reality, a reality of hardship, a reality of knowing the need for self-reliance and independence, a life of accountability to those with whom I have made agreements with, true contracts, actual contracts, a life of honor. I say all of this because it is not just important that I survive, it is just important to me how I do it as well. I kind of look at it like this. Imagine you and a couple of friends are in the forest and we stumble upon a bear, or you stumble upon a bear. The natural instinct would be to run, right? And most people would be so concerned with their own survival that while running, their instinct would not be to outrun the bear. No, not at all. Their instinct is to outrun the people who are with them in hopes that the bear gets the slower person that is with them because that person is slower and weaker. Allegorically, that bear represents the societal menace that we all know will eventually consume us all. The people running represent the herd. Now let's switch it up now. We are in the Serengeti Plains, so you can understand it better. There are predators in our midst. They've always been there. They're at the top of the food chain, kind of related to our situation presently. It's just allegory. The established social order among the animal kingdom seems fitting for those types of beings because they're not equipped with higher thought processes. But what about us? So back to the example. We're so stupid that we out here chewing our cud all day long like the cows that they say we are because of our lack of knowledge of self, that we do not fully realize that we're actually not cows. We realize that these predators have been living off of us while not realizing that we are the same as them. We have sharp claws and teeth too, and we could choose to realize that we're just as powerful as they are and that we do not have to outrun them when they attack, and we don't have to attack them either. We could simply stand our ground in unison as individuals, but in unison decide not to be culled anymore by baring our fangs at our would-be predators to show them that we are serious and that we could eat them too if we wanted to, but we'd rather not. For this to happen, a shift in consciousness has to occur. Other lions will not mistaken you for a cow when you symbolically bare your fangs to them. They will move on to a softer target in most cases, unless they want to risk getting hurt. An actual cow, perhaps, and that is according to the spirit. I personally do not mind when these types of people are culled from our ranks. You know why? Because those people choose to be cows. So I don't have to outrun anybody. There are so many people out here choosing to be cows and offering themselves up to the predators that the predators are having a feeding frenzy on them and they just forgot about me. So that's fine with me. I'll leave them all to their thing. I don't have a dog in this race either way. I'm going to wrap this up now because I have a lot to say. And what I'm starting to realize is that one point leads directly to another. And for context's sake, I have to continuously give examples to support my points of view. And since I won't compromise the quality of my expressions, I'm going to cut it short, but not before my final message. And for those of you that do not know me and what I'm doing, I'm one of millions of people around the plane who are actively working as individuals towards making the world a better place in our own special ways. Lately, I've gone a bit more extreme. Not fundamentalist, mind you, because I ain't into hurting people and doing stupid shit, but extreme in the sense that I live my life in a way that is entirely not in accord with established societal conditions and traditions. I am not in agreement with them, and my actions reflect that, and my vocal expressions do as well. I have lost relationships with about 90% of those who I once considered my friends and family in this journey that I'm on. And I don't hate or dislike those people at all, It's just that they've chosen to be cows and we can't walk together anymore because we're unevenly yoked. I have a problem with authority. I'm an internal monarch, which means I'm a ruler over myself. And I am an external anarchist, which means I reject all perceived authority outside of myself. No one in this world has a higher right of claim of authority over me than me. The right of claim of authority over another who is not your child is an illusion, except under contract. It is assumed and presumed by tacit agreement and by secret adhesion contracts according to their systems that they have and other methods in which there is no full disclosure of the terms of that contract that they believe that they have with us. And ladies and gentlemen, what I described to you is our system that exists in a manner tantamount to fraud. All of it. And this is unacceptable to me. And I will not bend the knee to it. And my sincere desire is that by the time that I'm done doing my job properly, you will decide to take the stand that I have as well. And like I said, I'm done. But I will continue where I left off next time. And this has been another Fear None Everlasting production. The president, founder, and only member of the Universal Intelligence Agency, a one-man organization, and forever this way I intend for it to remain. And like always, I leave you with these words: right on to the real and death to the fakers. Justify your existence. It don't matter what anybody else is doing, or die like a punk. Let the healing begin. It's a wrap, and I'm out. One.